Good evening. A new sheriff's report obtained today shares details about the night 6 people were killed in a fire at a vacation rental home in Necedah back in June. WMTV's Marcus Arsvold read through the report. Marcus, the Juneau County District Attorney said because of the report, no criminal charges will be filed against that property owner.
The 30-page report was submitted to the DA's office by the Juneau County Sheriff's Office after they found no evidence to support someone intentionally started the fire. The report includes interviews with people who survived the fire. There were 20 people inside and 14 made it out alive. They were there for a family get-together celebrating Green Bay Pastor Steve Whitty's return from missionary work in Hong Kong. Whitty's children and their in-laws who survived say they saw the flames start in the porch in the front of the house, and they believed it may have started because of lit citronella candles. District Attorney Kenneth Ham sent me a statement saying there was no criminally reckless conduct and this was a terrible accident. The DA says the family could still sue, but that would be a negligence case in civil court. The state fire marshal declined to comment today and says their investigation into the cause of the fire is still ongoing. Live in the studio, Marcus Arsvold, WMTV 15 News.